Testing this out. Hope this mic picks up well. Pretty sure it is. Let's check the capture. Alright. Welcome to another exciting episode of Lee Davis Draws. Thank you for joining me. Pardon me while I get my head adjusted in the pillow so I'm at my most comfortable position so I can make artwork happen, whether you like it or not. I just got kind of settled in, kind of caught up, wrapped up around here from a trip. Took Emily and her good friend out to Great Wolf Lodge here in Cincinnati, Ohio. It's a wonderful, wonderful place. Kids loved it. I had a good time. I was pretty comfortable. Of course, you know, it helps when you have well-behaved kids who don't put up, you know, a little fight, but not too much of a fight when I say, okay, you got school tomorrow. Yeah, it was a school night, but it's just the prices were so good. We made it happen, but they were, you know, fairly not incredibly combative at bedtime. They listened to reason. They made no secret that they were not happy that it was bedtime. Nor did they make a big secret that they didn't want to wake up as early as they did to have to drag themselves out of that awesome lodge and go to school to do more tests and all that. But they gave him the old boring growing up speech about how school is good and there's, you know, do good at school and there's more great stuff to look forward to coming up real quick. Knocked everything off the list, really. It's looking pretty good for Christmas time. We've seen Santa. Gosh, I think we've seen Santa go twice. We may even see him again. I'm talking about maybe taking the girls to the mall this weekend. Santa is there. It's a question of how Santa can be in so many places at so many times, and a lot of kids tried to use that as some kind of dumb reason for why he doesn't exist or whatever, but I mean, you definitely gotta think outside the box and realize he's obviously he still lives on the earthly plane, but he's been endowed with these spiritual powers that let him transcend the barriers of time and space that we normal humans are normal. I'm not very normal, but I mean, us humans are kind of stranded in, you know, we're all kind of limited, you know, to the earthly realm. And I think when our spirits transcend and see what's really out there, I think we'll look back at this as wonderful as it is and has been for the most part. I think we'll look back at it almost as if it was really closed in, you know, very isolated, very small. In my opinion today, as great and big and wonderful and amazing as this world is, you know, I think it's only the tip of the iceberg, so to speak. But, you know, let's just do our best and hang in there and just you know, try to do our jobs here as well as we can. Speaking of jobs, doing what God put us on this earth to do. Apparently mine is to draw mutated sushi trying to possess people. And though I'm sure many might scoff at that, I'm happy with it. Let's not get carried away on Shadow. I preach a lot. Because I get heated, you know. I spent my whole life dealing with people who just look at stuff at face value. They've never felt it, they've never experienced it, they don't know what's going on, and you know, it's been like a spiritual journey doing artwork for me. As crazy as that sounds, but you know, making these stories, it's I feel I'm channeling something, and yeah, you know, it kind of goes back to what I said. I've had it proven to myself time and time again. I've tried to do nihilistic work. I've tried to do just cheap thrill work, and somehow even when I want to lower my brow, which, I mean, it's not to say I can't lower my brow. I do that all the time. That's very simple. I can't really lower my brow with... I can't make bogus characters. I can't make characters I don't care for. I don't want to make the ultra hot, sexy characters with no personalities or souls that just exist to look good and then get killed in some amazing, splattery, crazy way for cheap thrills. I mean, I think even my villains, I think, represent to me badness, the lost souls in this world who have given into these appetites to hurt others. Those are my bad guys, the ones that lust after power. You know, we've all dealt with these people that like to hurt others. These, they get into adulthood even. I mean, as kids, sorry to say, most of us did it as kids, especially if we were lost. I was lost, and if I could go back and apologize to some of the people I hurt, you know, but many apparently make it to adulthood, and they still live for just hurting other people. And I told my daughter, I said, let's live to help other people. Let's better ourselves and just try to better the people around us. And if someone's nasty to us, let's just stay the heck away from that person. And you know, don't, you know, especially, I said in childhood, I said, look, you're just kids. I said, having been one myself and knowing that I was a real pain in the butt, someone that, you know, I was a lost kid. I was very clueless. Sometimes I tell my daughter, I say, well, for example, you know, there's a girl on her bus giving her a hard time. I guess a girl that she kind of sort of a little bit wanted to be friends with at one point, not long ago. And, oops, wrong button. Okay, how can I select multiple panels on this? Oh, I gotta hold the shift button on my laptop. Right? There it goes. Alright, cool. Now we're in. Yeah, there's this girl. And my daughter got off the bus. She was really upset. I said, what happened? She said this girl had been pulling her hairband off with this older girl, throwing it on the floor. And I said, you know what? Forget that person. I said, oh, it was that person? I said, that's too bad. I thought she was a nice person. And so, you know, I talked about it for a while. I said, you know what's going on? I said, there's this older kid who's probably having, you know, this older kid, a couple grades above, is hanging out with this girl you thought was your friend. And this older girl is insecure. So rather than be nice to the younger kids, she's pushing them around, just being a jerk to them, and it elevates her, makes her feel good, makes her feel powerful, you know. And I said, so your friend kind of sees this and realizes, hey, you know, I can get in on that. I'll look cool for this older kid if I kind of just be a little lackey to her. And so she starts being a jerk, and of course my daughter's the one. And you know, they go for the most vulnerable, and you know, it's not to say my child's perfect, nobody's perfect, but I dare, you know, or infallible, but I would say, you know, I believe my daughter to be a very kind and gentle person. Not that she's never done anything naughty or mean or teased or what have you. Everyone makes mistakes, but I think a nice little artistic girl who seems is very harmless, is just the kind of person that's a target for bullies. So I said, you know, this girl's having, she just wants to look cool, and she's gonna sell you out. And I thought back to my childhood. I say, you know, there was this one kid who he was older than me, and he started being real nice to me. he just talked. He's kind of, one of those, back in Northern Virginia before all the yuppies invaded, he was one of those Southern boys. And, they were from, lower income families, you can kind of tell. I mean, especially compared to the yuppies that kind of piled in there. He had a little twang to his accent, God bless him and everything, and he was talking to me, he's like, hey, what do you think of that girl? That girl's cute. That girl's cute. And I was like, man, I'm a little young. I'm still in the girls is yucky phase, but I said, yeah, this older guy, he's talking about girls, and I agree, that girl is kind of cute. I said, yeah, she's cute, man. He's like, yeah, I'm going to give the I love you sign to her. And he starts doing it. I said, oh, okay. And so we start saying I love you to the, cute girls going by. And I said, that guy's all right, And I was in chorus, and so was he. And so was this older than him, or I think maybe the same grade, I don't know. Like, is it mean to point out the fact that he was fat? He was fat. He's just a turd, even I remember even in his yearbook page, he probably did grow up to be a prick unless he, got himself under control. I don't know, so it's like, goes back to my original point. And I don't say I digress much because my whole speeches here are usually a flow of consciousness. I rarely circle back to my point before I go off on some other tangent. But if I can keep track and go back a little bit, I was talking about people who grow up. This kid was probably one that I imagine he's very possibly one of those that's still out there and still acting like a jerk. But because you look at his yearbook picture, he's just got that rotten, smug, sneering smile. Just looked like a jerk. And yeah, this kid decided he was just making fun of everybody. Yeah, she's and yeah, she's, as he's talking to the same guy, same kid. This the kid I'm talking about, the one that had been nice to me. I guess I won't get sued. His name was Bud. No, was his name? His name might have been Bud. I don't know, Bud. And I think he had kind of like a mullet thing going, like a lot of us Southern boys did back then. And yeah, same kid who was like saying, "Oh man, she's cute. I'm gonna say I love you to her." All of a sudden this guy's like, like cussing with this guy and just sneering and saying nasty things about people. I'm just like, I'm standing right in front of them. They're right behind my head, and I'm just like, ugh, I don't, it's just getting kind of grossed out. I'm like, whatever. And I ended up getting targeted. They like, hey, you want a free pencil? And they gave me this pencil like covered in spit. I'm like, and he's like, and Bud said, oh, Lee is a good drawer though. He said he probably draws like, and I'm not gonna say what he says. He said, yeah, just saying mean, nasty things. And I was like, oh man, it's just a shame. I said, man, I thought you were such a nice dude, but I realized he's just trying to look cool for this guy at my expense. I mean, he sacrificed the dignity of a younger, more vulnerable kid, goofy kid, to look cool for this older kid. And and you looking back in retrospect, I was like, who was that kid? He's just an insecure fat kid. He's like Cardman from South Park. He's just a ugly kind of, maybe he has no fear. Maybe he's doing real well. Who knows? Even really crappy people can do real well sometimes. These dirty tricks can get you ahead in this world. Yeah, he wants to sell me out for that, which I do find ironic because I tell my daughter, I say, don't rip on never. Well, I've given her long speeches. It's hard. It'd take a while for me to even get into it the way I cover all these details. But in a nutshell, I just say, be the nice one. Be nice to younger kids. Don't be that one that like wants to look cool. I said, and yeah, this was part of the speech I gave her about that girl. I said, people like her, but right now, maybe not forever, but at this time, she's really worried about looking cool. She wants to be with the in crowd. I said, it's a worthless, empty, go nowhere attitude. I say, you will get so much further by being nice, by not caring about being popular. And one thing I've said several times, and I completely stand by this, if you, let me check, make sure, am I still recording? Yeah, it looks like we're capturing. If I'm saying all this and this doesn't capture, then I just wasted, I don't know if anyone cares to hear all this stuff anyway. If there's any younger, you younger people, I hope you can make sense of this. You probably already know it. A lot of you, because obviously, if you like my artwork and my comics, you're probably really smart. So I mean, you probably don't need to hear this from me. But I say if oh man, now I'm so sorry I lost it. What was it I said to her? I said, oh yeah, I've said several times. There's gonna be days where you don't run into anybody nice. So you're gonna there's gonna be times in your life where you're in a social environment and everybody there is friends and everybody's part of the crowd except for you. So you will find yourself in a situation where nobody wants to talk to you. I mean, it's usually there's at least one or two, but you might walk into some social environment where you don't really know anybody, and everybody already knows each other, and you're just some brand new person they've never seen before. And you know, I said the best thing you can do is just be nice. You know, say hi. You know, if someone talks to you, talk back to them. But if nobody wants to talk to you, and they make that perfectly clear, don't even waste a breath. Don't even waste a second. You know, it's so much not worth pursuing. I say, you know, if someone goes out of their way and tries to talk to you, that's wonderful. Talk to them. You know, they're worth your time. They're making the effort. And I said, when you're in the situation where you've got all the friends and you see someone who's kind of looking a little shy, a little lost, a little insecure, you know, you be the one. You know, even if your friends don't, you be the one to go up to that person, say, "Hey, how's it going? I'm Emily." That's my daughter's name, Emily. I guess she won't sue me for using her name. She better not. I just took her to Great Wolf Lodge. Don't sue me, Emily. I said, be the one that goes up to that kid and makes them feel welcome. You know, I think I did. You know, when I got real insecure, you know, as a kid, I went through some really tough times, and I didn't really have a guiding voice. I'm sorry to say. I mean, I did a little bit, but it wasn't around enough or something. I got a fair amount of it from one good source. It just, you know. Anyway, I was lost a lot, and when I started having troubles, sometimes I just didn't know how to deal with it. Especially when I was taken out of an environment where everyone had been just so wonderful. What's up, Willow Springs classmates? When everyone had been so wonderful, Willow Springs classmates, and then all of a sudden I was just taken completely out of that. I did not know how to handle being around a bunch of yuppie, jock, overprivileged pricks with too much gel in their hair. I didn't know how to do it. And I didn't handle it well. And it made me nasty. But by the time I got to high school, I was always the nicest kid, I swear. But I put on this front, like I just wanted to be that like ugly, hideous, don't come near me crackhead. Because I was so sick of people coming near me because all they ever came near me to do was to F with me, you know. I just turned into a jerk. And the worst thing is, then I take it back to Virginia with me. And I'm not a big fan of the high school I went to. That high school sucked. But that's not to say all the kids did. But I was like kind of shell shocked by bullying, you know. I just acted like a jerk to everybody, you know. And some people might say, "Oh, that's punk rock." No, man. There's people I wish I could have gone back. Even when people, you know, it's like I almost didn't know how to. And when people were just kind of playing around, you know, I didn't know. I thought they were like really, really messing with me. And I just put up this whole front, you know. Yeah, I was still just a timid, weak kid anyway. There's sometimes I guess I went a little crazy. You know, just a little. Yeah, I remember like the last day of school in middle school that I went to, I started insulting everybody, calling them ugly, and I just didn't care. I was out of there. I said, I don't have to look at your faces anymore. I started just insulting random people who I didn't like. And some that really didn't deserve it, if I'm to be perfectly honest. Like I said, I was out of it. You know, sometimes just like all of a sudden I was this negative, ticked off kid, and sometimes it worked out good, and sometimes I was being a jerk to people who really totally did not ask for it or deserve it. And I hate that. I just wish I'd known better. But hey, you know, I mean, that's why I tell my daughter I don't want her to grow up and have these kind of regrets. I carry them around and I get past it. I listen to spiritual guides via YouTube. People who I think their voice helps keep me closer to God. And they say that's the past. It's an old movie. That movie is done. There's stuff that I try to remind myself when this stuff creeps up on me and I have a little spaz. Because I do. I do have like borderline Tourette's. It's like controllable, but I do start randomly just cussing and yelling sometimes. I can keep it under control out in public, but when I have these horrible, embarrassing memories, I feel terrible about myself. I'll start saying F, stuff like that. I'm not. I think I have a strong spiritual connection, but I'm not exactly Mr. Miyagi. I'm not I'm mostly at peace, but it's a constant struggle. You wake up to it's almost like demonic voices just hissing in your head. All these regrets, all these insecurities, all these embarrassments, all these negative memories, stuff that hurts, the stuff people did to me, and it takes a minute, I can't, it's like they sneak up on you when you're not, so it's almost like being constantly psychologically vigilant, spiritually vigilant, keeping your, just staying on defense, when those nasty, lousy, rotten memories show up, whether it's something someone did to you, something you did to someone else, and it just fills you with this anxiety and this kind of like this guy I'm drawing right now. You just feel like this, just shaking it away. It takes a mental discipline. I get better every year. You got that though, if you're dealing with that, I still say good on you because that means you got a healthy conscience. You do care, Some people don't. I'm going to like train myself just not to care. You think that's a strength? No. That does not make you strong if you don't care. Now, I tried that in my 20s, and that is empty, empty, empty. Not caring is not a strength. Being able to get over and get past it, yeah, that, and you deserve to. You've paid penance, or that thing that happened to you. That was a long time ago. You're alive. Everything is good. Life is good. You can't let that rule your happiness, as they say. And take it from my buddy Joel Osteen, who I still stand by. I know y'all call him a fraud. I love Joel Osteen. You just shake your head. Oh, he's got too much money or whatever. I stand by him. His voice has led me out of dark places. He's someone I can turn to, and other people can turn to too. So I'm not saying you should. I'm not saying you have to 100% endorse the guy. I'm saying I like the guy, and I'm not ashamed to say it. God bless you, Joel Osteen. Remember at one time, about the time I was listening to a lot of Joel Osteen, I was also listening to a lot of Cannibal Corpse. That's nothing new. And I thought it was funny. I said the people I most want to talk to, just hang out with right now, would be I'd like to have a good chat with Joel Osteen and the guys from Cannibal Corpse. And then what a unique situation that'd be if I got to talk to both of them. Hang out at the same convention center or something. Go get a beer with Alex Webster and Pat O'Brien and George Corpse Grinder and Paul Mazurkiewicz and Rob Barrett and Joel Osteen. That'd be pretty metal. I can talk metal and lift my spirit. These abstracts I'm putting in here. If you're wondering if I was ever going to talk about the art, I don't know. I just try to go flow of consciousness, make these little things that kind of show spiritually, if you will, or emotionally what is happening, or even the spiritual realm that's invading this this place, this town, Corrales Coast. Oh, it's 11:36. I already feel like I need more coffee. I got a better night's sleep last night. What was I just talking about? Yeah, I just watched the Centuries of Torment DVD. It's I'd get on and off Cannibal Corpse. I kind of burn them out. For a long stretch, I was just into grindcore, gore grind. and I kind of left and Cannibal Corpse was like that technical death metal band, and there were a lot of bands doing exactly what they were doing, like being Cannibal Corpse imitators, and they're all to do that you got to be good at the guitar, and I kind of like the spirit and the feel of gore grind more than technical death metal by a long shot. Not to say I didn't like that kind of technical death metal, but and then one day you wake up and I do remember that particular spell where it was just exclusive because there was so much gore grind. If you tapped into the underground, there was so much to get. It's like, why even bother I can find Cannibal Corpse in any media shop. Why don't I get this stuff that's like, rare, hard to find? Save my money for that. And then one day it was just like, I opened my eyes a little bit and I said, wait a minute. Cannibal Corpse rules, I was like, man, I've been neglecting Cannibal Corpse. Like 2 or 3, maybe 3 albums had passed me by, like Gore Obsessed, Bloodthirst. My brother Bob got me actually one during that period. He got me like Bloodthirst, so I had that sitting around. I think I'd listened to it. It was just all of a sudden, it was like Cannibal Corpse, and I said, oh man, what luck, they have that triple DVD. Suddenly I just woke up and I'm like, man, Cannibal Corpse. I went out, got that triple DVD. Even if Cannibal Corpse is not your favorite band in the world, Centuries of Torment and their follow-up came shortly after Global Evisceration, which was Centuries of Torment was a documentary on the band, their origins, and just their impact on culture and metal and all that good stuff. And Global Evisceration was a documentary about just their lives as a death metal band that is like global, like goes everywhere. Everywhere, and they're showing fans that are bonded by this love of amazing death metal, like everywhere. I mean, I don't know if they covered. I think those dudes have been to like, I swear, maybe I'm wrong. I think Iran. They've been to China. That's insane. Like, can you imagine? I mean, it's like Cannibal Corpse showing up in China. I've been to China, I just say it's kind of hard. It's amazing to imagine. There are Chinese death metal bands, incidentally. Oh yeah, but that's why. Yeah, it was just funny. Around that time, I was getting spiritual strength from Joel Osteen, and I was venting my angst and feeling alive by listening to Cannibal Corpse. Oreo's here. I don't have my camera going today. My computer wasn't cooperating, so I skipped the camera. But if you could see him, he is now crawling up onto my chest. Hey, Oreo. And he's got a little competition for his territory right now, since we've gotten our new cat Smokey, who kind of, speaking of bullying earlier, but Smokey bullies Oreo a little bit. We're trying to get her out of that. So an update on Door to Death. Yeah, I owe a lot to always I mention Caesar. He's just been a real great driving force in everything I do, but mostly it was getting a nice little bit of mail, like, hey, just asking about my work. I don't have a lot of followers. I don't have an agency. I'm just totally on my own, except for word of mouth, and I've been published a couple small places that just don't, I don't have an agency pumping my stuff out there. Like, it'll flare up when something good happens. Like, this thing with Toadies has been wonderful and amazing. It means a lot to me. Totally awesome. But as far as like Door to Death, my comic books and all that stuff, it's just me putting it out there. And yeah, I got the it was Raj, nice fellow Raj from Australia. I think his full name's Raj Neil. I'm under the impression he might be of Indian descent, but I honestly don't know. Pakistan, what have you, I don't know. But wherever he's from, yeah, God bless him. He just asking me, hey, what's going on with he asked me what order my books were, and I said, shoot, man, it's just hearing that someone, just getting a little like, hey, there's still people out. I know these things sell, a little bit. I do get my sales reports. I know some people are reading them. Even that, but yeah, it just said, is there another one coming soon? And I finally got some stuff caught up, and I finished an issue, and that's usually just such a big thing, but here I am on yet another. This is issue 8, I think. I'm on issue 8. Oh yeah, it says right up there at the corner. This is Door 8, page 5. Now, I've actually got a few others done. After this, I'm going to have like about 8 pages done altogether. 8 pages for issue 8. And yeah, man, I gotta tell you, I'm 42. I keep bringing that up because part of my point is just there's a lot of stuff I want to get done, and sometimes I really do feel like I'm 20 years behind. I wanted to get my death metal opus done when I was like 17. You know, I didn't get one. I've gotten a few done that I'm actually really happy. Why can't I get this finger line right? I want to get, you know, my death metal album in the bag before I reached, like, you know, I wanted it done when I was like 17, 18. Because I just didn't see myself doing that kind of stuff into my adulthood. I mean, not me. Some people, yeah, sure. But I was like, that's not my destiny. I'm not going to be a death metal guy. You know, even if I was, I'm not. I don't want to do the kind of stuff that the big guys are doing. You know, I don't. It's all fun for me. But before I get too far away off my point, I wanted to do all these things, and you know, you've heard me talk about it before. I'll try to save some of that for more in-depth discussions or ramblings later. But I was kept away from achieving these dreams. And once again, I say, man, these were dreams I wanted to do with my free time. My professional, like, real-world stuff, I mean, that's a whole other story. But I was dealing with all these idiots, you know, and I was dealing with all this abuse and garbage that was just tearing this stuff up. Like, I could not do it. I mean, the kind of stuff a lot of kids do, you know, just on the weekends for fun. It was just being made so ridiculously hard. But the thing is, a lot of these kids got to do it, and they didn't have much of, I'm sorry, they didn't have much of a vision. And I had these really amazing ideas I had to put down. And it drove me crazy, and not getting to being able to get them out drove me nuts. I mean, you've probably heard some of the stories of how I made death metal happen. That was a complete nightmare, and it was just such a drag. Being this kid who's had no, I mean, I saved up money just to get like a 4-track, you know. I bought a drum machine. I mean, I had like no band. I was recording vocals. I had to, like, because my parents didn't want me moving out, and I had like no friends with all the moving around. I'm like really waiting for them to go out and run some errands so I can quick like scream into the microphone a little bit. I'd be like checking outside the window, making sure my parents weren't home so they didn't walk in and hear. But like, you know, these comics and stuff. I mean, I wanted to do this stuff. I wanted to have like some of this stuff done before I was like 20, you know, and so the thing is, it's, you know, I've hit some landmarks and kind of scratched the itch and made these dreams happen very belatedly, but I still feel like I'm playing catch up, and which brings me to where I am right now. This past it is crazy. I got some serious work done, and then I was like, oh my gosh, dude, I'm just gonna pencil. I penciled A New Door to Death. I penciled a new children's book. I penciled the new Overripe comic. What else did I do? I did several music videos. I actually lost count. And a lot of those I made comics for, you know, based on the Surgically Enhanced Cadaver lyrics. I made several into music videos. I even made the Booties on the Beach spoof rap song. I got that out yesterday. Animated. I made one animated Surgically Enhanced Cadaver music video, one I'd had in mind since. I conceived of it. I was talking to my friend, the Fujitani family. I was learning about the city of Uji. And I was having this conversation with my friend Miwa. And I was just talking about, like, man, if it's famous for green tea, I mean, there's a bridge there. It'd be kind of maybe I ought to drink some green tea and then pee off the bridge. And she said, you will see a police officer will say, come over here. And I said, okay. And so I made a song about it. I said, because it's a death metal song, you need a blood and guts horror death metal band. You need some death in it. You need some Edgar Allan Poe going at least. It doesn't have to be full on splatter mode, but you need some morbidity. So I said, how about this? I drink too much tea in Uji. I'm peeing off the bridge. Someone has recently committed suicide. Their cadaver just happens to be floating down the river as I'm peeing off the bridge, and I pee on them. And then, like, I'm afraid that the departed soul will put a curse on me, but in the end he understands. So I conceived of this. I made an animated, a primitive animation based on with what I can do with Adobe and green screen know-how and tons of illustration. Man, oh my gosh. And for those, I think, yeah, I did the illustrations for the Booties on the Beach and for the Peeing Off the Bridge Surgically Enhanced Cadaver song. I did those in like a day. And I mean that was one day. That was one crazy day. But all those other days, I mean, I was just in this cushion where I'm at right now for hours. Like, you know, until my daughter got home. It was just insane the amount of work I did. And more and more every day, every time I do this stuff, I feel more caught up. I feel just more like, okay, I mean, I love this stuff. I'm probably going to do it until I die, but I mean, I kind of feel, okay, I did it. You know, I did that. And I feel so caught up with a lot of my dreams. And I think, and those of you who are artistic, I think you know what I mean. I think performing a function, like doing an everyday job, is awesome. You know, it makes money, it's good for you, it's a good experience. I mean, if you got a good job, of course, you got to love your job. But those of you who are artistically endowed to one degree or another, and you have this dream, you know what I mean. There's this thing you got to do. I talk about my I don't know if I should call them idol. They say don't have false idols, but so someone who's my icon, if that's better. Sylvester Stallone. I talk about him a lot. You know, everybody and their brother identifies with the Rocky movie, but I've said before, what I find so ironic is I was actually not a Sylvester Stallone fan at all, and then I fell absolutely in love with the guy when I saw Rocky Balboa. You know, that was the 6th Rocky film. A lot of people say it was good, but you know, no big deal. And I've said before, and I'll call a little flack, I might like it. Objectively speaking, not a better movie than the original Rocky. I might like it better. And you know, and it's probably for this reason. It just speaks to me so much. I'm right there with Rocky in that particular story, and I just saw in that character, that man's soul, who is, you know, an extension of the man himself, Sylvester Stallone. It's kind of maybe it's a symbol of his own journey, his Rocky character. But I mean, I was like, yeah, I know this. I know what you're talking about. There's this thing you just got to do. You know, maybe it doesn't make you a ton of money. Oops. It maybe, and just every no one can see why you're doing this thing, and everyone is just like, why are you doing that? And I've had people say, you're not going to get rich off doing that. I said, look, what the heck, dude? You know, I look back when I was a young man, when I was a kid. It's just like I fail to see what the big harm is in just letting a kid have a guitar, have a drawing pad, have some basic art tools, you know, have a recording device, you know, anything, a video camera, something, and let them just go wild. Say, you know, they're not like, what's going to happen? They're going to say, oh, now that I can record death metal or heavy metal or what have you, now that I can record rock music, I'm going to go off and smoke crack, and I'm not going to go to school. You know, it's like you can tell your kid, yeah, here's your guitar, how are your grades looking? You want so you say you want to record a demo, do you want to put down money to go to a studio, or do you want to get like a 4-track, an 8-track? Look at the prices. How are your grades looking? Don't look too good. Get them a little bit. Show me better results. You get the 8-track. I never got that. So you don't get squat. You ain't doing squat. You know, finally I was of legal age to work, and you know, I went out and got a job, and I just bought, you know, got what I could get. Yeah, just getting this stuff done. Oops. Yeah, just and you know, it feels late in life to be getting this stuff done. I do think I'd kind of be out there. I'm pretty sure I would have been out there. I mean, I'm not saying it would have been my main job. I'm not, but but I think I'd be out there if I'd gotten what I needed when I needed it. And yet here I am, you know, and sometimes I get bummed, like, man, I'd be bigger. I'd be bigger. I'd be better. Honestly, would. I'm happy enough with my work. It could be better. I know. You know, and I think with some schooling or something, some classes, or just being able to meet other artists, God forbid, or, you know, be around my people, so to speak. You know, other people who get this, if they're out there, I was not allowed to meet them. You know, I think you can. I mean, wait, yeah, you can get better from that. I am where I am. I do what I do. I'm happy with that. Yeah, but you know, it's like they say, there's no point to look back and regret. You know, it's part of going back to what I was kind of getting at earlier. Just training your mind not to let this stuff pull you back, pull you down. You know, just get out there with the time I got. I get out there and do it. So whenever I can, and I really do. I feel kind of done. I'm still going. I got more I want to do. But you know, I feel like I've gotten the really big stuff out of the way, and I can kind of relax, you know, kind of open my eyes to other things in life. You know, I'm gonna keep on doing art, that's for sure. If you were to ask me what I have planned in the future, more comics, basically. I want to do some more original pieces, just cause, you know, something to make me feel a little more, you know, like not just a comic book guy. I mean, I do abstracts and stuff like that. I did one back in 2013. I mean, tag on. Yeah, near a decade ago now. Time's flying way too fast. But I did one. It's like a landscape, an abstract kind of. It was compared to Bosch. Not that, you know. When I compare myself to these people, I mean in concept, not in talent, obviously. But it was compared to Bosch. I totally agree. I mean, not like I was replicating Bosch, but it was just an abstract. Morbid landscape that was kind of beautiful a little bit too. I did one of those years ago for a friend, and I ended up liking it a lot. I'd like to do some more stuff like that, you know, stuff that usually my artistic energy goes into comics. There's always some comic I want to do because I like telling stories. And comics are art, but you know, it's not like it's on a lower level necessarily. But I just want to get back to doing original pieces, see where I'm at. Did one, I guess, a couple of years back, and then I got back into comics. Haven't picked it up. Other thing, you know, I want to make another horror movie, and I've got a lead. And by as far as like, because I need help, and I was blessed to know the Sabo family back in Pennsylvania, and we made Exit Darkness happen, and that's totally awesome. And I was just wondering, well, and we've kind of wrapped Exit Darkness. If you want to know, and especially if the Sabos are watching, yes, because I talked to them, and if they actually record more adventures that take place in Pennsylvania, we'll probably compile more episodes from time to time. And we can make more, but we got like 2 DVDs worth finished. There's 2 volumes worth, or 2 seasons, you could call it. And so my point is that stuff's not necessarily dead. If it's Sabos, if you're listening, you know, but it's kind of like what I'm saying with my comics. It's done. It can go on, but it feels complete. And what I've been really itching to do is when the time is right and when the stars line up, I really want to do another horror movie. And I've also said, like I said in the bonus feature of Exit Darkness, if you're wondering what's going on, like what I'm thinking, I want to do something with blood and guts and some bad words. I don't want to have stuff I'd like freak out if I heard my daughter listening to, you know, nothing very not real disgusting dialogue. But I'm kind of a little more laid back to getting into R-rated territory. My lead I was referring to, I have discovered, and I'm Facebook friends with a man who is into film, into making film apparently, is into a lot of the same films as I am. Has looks like a tight little scene, which once again I never got my crew. I've never had a solid crew because I moved around too much and just because I haven't been able to access it. But I mean, yeah, this dude appears to have a crew, and I want to contact the dude about helping. You know, I'd like to lend my my acting to any of his projects. Oh yeah, but he's like local. I just happened to I was a kind of a fan. I was listening to his work. I listen to his work while I'm working while I'm doing artwork and what have you quite often. He's doing reviews and stuff like that. Just very, very cool stuff. And yeah, so I mean, I haven't even hollered at dude, but when the time comes, I think I'd like to somehow join forces. It's just really cool to meet other like-minded people, especially if they got a crew. Because I kind of need a crew. I need more than a few heads to make a film happen, and people who kind of get what I'm talking about. I thought of hollering. My daughter's taking an improv acting class right now. Kind of thought, the teacher would maybe have some leads on adult actors. Felt a little. I wasn't sure. If I found myself in the position, I talked to the teacher a little bit, and briefly, but I mean, I thought, maybe this is something. If something were to work out where I could just say, hey, I like to make horror movies, like no budget horror movies that, made some on very small, tiny, teensy micro budget, if you will. I said, despite that, they look all right for what they are, not bad, and I like just getting, some talent, not professional necessarily, but just some talent that wants to make something cool happen. Let people express themselves a little bit, I write the script, and kind of as I have in the past, I kind of work and get ideas with the other people, and we just kind of make something happen. And has so far has not made me rich, but it's fun. It's something you can leave behind. Once again, back to the artist mentality. That's a good point. Just kind of something you want to leave behind. Another movie to watch, Dead Poets Society. Watch that. What impression are you going to leave? I think when you think about it, we all go back to God eventually. This world, everything is gonna revert back to where it came from. We're not going to be around forever. So a lot of people might have their they say, well, what's the point? At some point it's all going to be bye-bye. And I just say, while we're here, let's make some cool stuff happen and do it. As crazy as this sounds, and like I said, don't conflate me with a Bible thumper. But I mean, if you've explored your spirituality, you probably get what I'm saying. Let's use God's gifts and kind of do God's work, And like I say, people say that's crazy. They look at my comics. I say once again, read them, and maybe you'll kind of get the idea. Are they vulgar? Yeah. Are they gory? Yeah. Do they have possessed sushi? Yes. Are they politically correct? Definitely not. Of course not. Because that is like throwing your story into the garbage compactor. But if you want to find an underlying meaning, it's in there for you. And maybe you can dig it, maybe you don't. I think my comics kind of identify with I think they do kind of go hand in hand with real life. They can be funny and silly and crazy, but there's a point to it, and I'm happy. I can say that with confidence. And a lot of there's always plenty of people that want to rip on other people's work. It's like they say they're insecure. It's just another extension of that bullying mentality. Even when they do it under the guise of calling stuff racist that they don't like, just calling everything racist. That's bullying. It throws you off because they want to project the image that they're stopping racism by calling stuff that is not racist at all. That it might be politically incorrect, but calling it racist, and then they get to act like they're feel good about themselves. I secretly think a lot of the people that point the racism finger all over the place are secretly kind of racist. They do have a moral superiority conflict. I think they are the same kind of people who, you know, if we were living in a time where we all bullied one specific race, I think they'd be them. Right now it's fashionable to point the racism finger and to call everyone a fascist, and people are going to start reading into my words too much, and before you go out, yeah, I'm sure, I know racism, and look, I know there's crappy people out there, but when you start calling like everything, when you start calling like Door to Death racist, because there's like a goofy Asian character, and then you completely ignore the fact that there's like, you know, 3 really good Asian characters that, like, you know, fight the bad one and fight the bad white people, you know, then you're an idiot. I mean, that's not fighting racism. That's my point, you know. What was I saying? So where did I even start with that? Sorry, yeah, I really lost myself. That time I did have a point to complete, and I lost it already. I'm getting tired. I don't know. How much more of this page do we have? Let's take a look at it, folks. That's it so far. I didn't drop in at a very crucial... This isn't the most interesting page, but it's nice and simple. It's a breezy one. Maybe we'll get to the end of it. We'll call it a day. What time is it? Oh, it's noon. Cool. Just a little art. I just wanted to share it with you. The fact is, I've done a lot. Well, as I said, I've done a lot of pages, but I did them on my portable tablet. Like I said, I've just been going crazy and drawing with the portable tablet. I'm at the one that wires into my laptop. It's set up here on my table. But I did a ton on my portable tablet, my ancient falling apart. Gotta wrestle with the power cord to get it to function tablet. Did a ton of work on that. I would have loved to have shared some of it with y'all, but you know. So I'll just keep on doing these pages. We'll get to have more of these sessions and hang out. Anyone actually hanging out for this? Once again, if you're taking your time out for me when there's like an abyss of media out there, I do appreciate it. And once more, for good measure, I'm going to say to Raj and all you other readers who, you know, anyone who's showing any love or support to this stuff, I mean, you're not the only reason I'm doing this, but what do they say? You can't do blackface or else you're a racist. Where's that idiot from Canada?
You're a racist. Your characters are wearing blackface.
No, they're not, see? That's what the eraser's for.
Well, you're still a racist. And if I call you a racist, then that'll make everyone realize that I'm totally not racist. Even though I guess I kind of am. Because I actually think that minorities are kind of stupid, so they need a fat, pink-haired white guy to, like, make mean-spirited reviews on Amazon to total strangers for their comics that have nothing to do with anything that I'm about, and just call them racists so that I can fight racism. Yes, today I fought racism. I put a black square on my social media, and I fought racism by calling people racists on Amazon. People who I know nothing about. I just read like 2 pages of their comic for free, and then I saw that there was a character that was stupid and goofy, and it wasn't a white man, so they must be racist.
Okay, fight the power, dude. You know, go ask your mom to buy you more purple hair dye. And then go jump in a bridge, because you're a worthless loser. And by the way, not long ago in human history, in fact, in less than a blink of the eye in the history of humanity, men, and I say men, not little weaklings like you, were going off to be killed, fighting in World War II. And as they say, many of these young men signed up at extremely young ages because they wanted to fight the people who were trying to take over everything and were murdering many innocent people. And now we have little losers like you who think you're great because you can get on Amazon and call Door to Death
Racist!
You totally suck. And yeah, all you showing love and support. You guys are awesome. People like the one I'm making fun of. You guys suck. You guys are worthless. And if you do your own comic, share it with everybody. Cause I want to see what kind of comics you usually do. I'm sure it sucks. Now I wouldn't hop on and give it some unfair review. I mean, I think a lot of the stuff that comes out these days is crap. All this woke stuff, it is shit. And I mean, you know, while they're being so preachy and high and mighty to everybody else, and you're racist if you don't like my stupid comic, man. Some of the stuff they're doing that is like approved, like PC approved or whatever. Hey, you look at, man, it sucks. Oh man, it's so bad. I'm glad I wasn't a superhero. It's like I've said before, I'm glad I wasn't a superhero fan before I got into forgive me. I'm glad I wasn't a superhero fan before this PC stuff got like really out of control, because that'd be really hurting. I've seen a lot of other franchises, you know, die. Star Wars obviously being the most painful. Seeing Star Wars die like that, man, that hurt. I accepted it. I mean, it's as easy as just looking at something and just being able to admit to yourself, I don't like this at all. In fact, you know, I try to not judge art objectively. Well, I try to just speak what I'm feeling, but this is actually just shit. That's how I felt about Star Wars. That's probably how. That's if I was actually, you know, I've looked at enough of these. I've seen and caught up on enough of these superhero comics to know they suck. So yeah, it's just another reason to feel happy. I'm not. Wait, which character? I'm not in that scene. If you do comics and you let these people bully you, you're not. I mean, I don't hate you or anything, but you're not doing yourself or anybody else a favor. Like I said, you just wanting to be. What did I tell my daughter? Going with the cool kids, compromising. You know, throwing other people under the bus to go with the cool kids. It gets you nowhere. All you politically correct people that think you're so cool because like you're ripping on other people, throwing them under the bus, calling them names like racist and other bullshit like that. So you can appease these bullies. Her tits aren't that big. You're getting with bullies. You're getting with toxic people to make yourself feel better. She's not fat either, and it's pathetic. You know, don't do it. I'm telling you, get away. I mean, you know. You're so worried about offending these people. And they'll be offended, but the only way you're going to appease them is to get with them, you know, kiss their ass a little bit, tell them what they want to hear, give them what they want, compromise your story. You know, instead make it an exercise, like, you know, make sure everyone's like equally represented and all this stuff that like has nothing to do with actually making a story. You know, you are sacrificing. Frankly, you're sacrificing what's inside you to appease these bullies, and it's nowhere. It's a dead end road. You still do your comics if you're happy to give up that much. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm a hypocrite. I'll probably compromise a little bit. You know, just to. You know, I don't want to totally alienate people. Let me think. If I'm to be honest with myself and you all, what have I sacrificed? What have I changed in my comics? Nothing really. I mean, I guess I tone down the language. I make my comics in a universe where like no one ever says the F word. So in a way, you might say I've compromised a little bit of it for. They do in my books. You read my books, definitely. How are we looking? What's the time? How long is this going? Oh man, not too bad. So I guess you might say I've compromised a little bit just to make it accessible to younger readers. Just like I told when I was making my movies, I told everyone, I said I'm not saying a bunch of kids are gonna want to watch this movie, but I want them to be able to. I want that. It's like I was that kid once who was not allowed to watch this movie or that movie because it was rated R. And if I managed to get a hold of it, if all of a sudden there was all this, nasty language, and that was it, and all this got really awkward, and I get that, you don't want, there's certain things you don't want your kid watching, but it's but I love this stuff so much, I wanted to watch it, Freddy, Jason, it was all so magical to me, it was great, but then you get stuff like The Gate, or, there were others. It's PG-13, it's got some scary, creepy stuff in it, but there doesn't have to be a lot of sex and violence in it, so I could watch it, and I loved it, and a lot of those other horror movies, man, I would have loved to have been able to see them at a younger age, to have experienced them when people say, it wouldn't have messed me up, is what I'm saying. It would have been kind of, you ask any horror fan, a lot of these horror movies, they were special, they were magical, life-changing even, and a lot of parents are understandably worried about that. My point is, I want younger kids, I want younger people to be able to enjoy these and not have to worry about their parents finding it and saying, oh my gosh, maybe even that's a little wrong. There is some pretty raunchy stuff in my comics, I'll admit. And I guess I try to do that with a purpose too. It's not just stupid, pointless scat jokes. Okay, you take Cranberry Death Sauce for example. There's some pretty vulgar, pretty pretty raunchy humor in that. But I think it serves a purpose. I say it's kind of what I say about South Park. At least the episodes I used to watch. Is it raunchy and disgusting? Yes. Does it have a purpose? It does actually, and that's why I love it. And that's what kind of in a way justifies the raunchy humor. It's not just meaningless smut. It's there's a reason. There's a cause. It sounds cliche. That's actually kind of making a difference, It might even be opening some eyes, and I like that. Especially in art, I don't like just you got just like blatant crap. That's the thing, and I even my Cranberry Death Sauce approached this. There was a part in the first issue that dealt with this phenomenon. It's like a lot of these lame brains who I don't think have the gift, don't have a vision, don't have a spiritual connection, but their parents did help them learn how to do animation and artistic things, who do get into these a studio and make these cartoons. You see these cartoons, it's just a bunch of disgusting, rude humor. That's all it is. There's no point. And I'm watching it, I'm just like, there's no point. It's like, even if the point is just to make me laugh, that's at least a point. A lot of stuff is like, it's not funny. Maybe I gotta be stoned for it. I don't know. It's just not funny to me. So why are you making it's it's just like taking a dump in the middle of the street. Well, I guess that would actually be kind of funny, but funnier than some of these shows. I don't know. It just lacks soul, lacks purpose, and I feel like I'm wasting my time watching it. So, what else can I ramble about? We're almost done here. Why don't we wrap this before I call it quits? My throat's getting dry. I guess I have been pretty sleep deprived. I said I've been doing all this work, and I'm telling you, I was getting very little sleep. I was working on video work, music videos and finishing art. Oh my gosh! I'm seriously looking forward to getting enough done where I can. I want to do some. It's Christmas time. I am ready to sit on my butt and play some video games, to be perfectly honest. Watch some Christmas specials with my daughter. I'm ready to switch this off, but I'm still going. I'm still burning. I want to share some of it with y'all. What can y'all look out for now? If you're listening, you want The new volume of The Exit Darkness of Hash is available on DVD. There's a it's being distributed by Kunaki.com, and one issue is I don't know how I can't. The URL is confusing. You know, you can't. I don't even know how to go to their shop. It's like I got to give a specific URL, copy and paste. So maybe you'd have to look it up. Maybe Google The Exit Darkness of Hatch Volume 2 DVD Kunaki, something like that. Maybe you get a link. Otherwise, you'll have to ask me until I can post it. Yeah, because all my social media and all that stuff, my Linktree and all that, none of it is linked up to this. I do buy it. I mean, of course, all the books and stuff. Like, if you haven't yet, you want Door to Death is on Amazon. Don't forget to put Door to Death Lee Davis in the search engine, because I swear that like all those other books come up. I did find out there was I realize now why Rex Stout's book kept on showing up, because there's a short story in it called Door to Death. I kept on wondering, like I did some searching, because I searched thoroughly. I'll grant myself that. Before I settled on Door to Death, I looked, and I found no book, but I did find out years later, that is just recently, that there is a Door to Death, a short story by Rex Stout, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it was by Rex Stout. I know very little about it. It might have been like a noir story. I don't know. Man, I feel tired. I'm ready for a break. Let's just get this page done. There's something else I was going to say. I don't know. Yeah, check out Door to Death. Check out the music videos. They're on my rumble.com/Lee Davis, YouTube. That's where I'm posting those. I don't like YouTube's fascism going on right now, suppression of free speech, so I'm trying to utilize Rumble quite often, but I know the mass exodus has not happened. Everyone's still on YouTube. Check out Rumble, really. It's a good platform. It's not, the options aren't quite as impressive as YouTube, but they are a smaller outfit. But I mean, who cares? They're not censoring people for not having the right political opinion or daring to question government. Rumble.com/Lee Davis. Yeah, going back and rewinding a little bit. Yeah, I want to make a new horror movie, but yeah, I gotta talk to some people. Gotta figure out what kind of heads I can get in this, what kind of characters they can portray. This is kind of jumping ahead. I mean, I still gotta make contact with some peeps. I haven't even done that yet. I might even send them this video just to. I want to introduce myself and not just sound like some leech or something. I got a passion for this stuff, and make it happen. Oh yeah. I guess I can talk a little bit more about how I want to make. I do want to make. I try not to be too much of a hypocrite, but I mean, I do want to make something that. Maybe this goes back to what I say about I'm not against doing. I don't know. Maybe I'm contradicting myself. I have attempted. I have tried to make those cheap thrill works before, and there is that desire. I don't want to make it just meaningless crap, but at the same time, I do want to do something that's got a lot of fun and a lot of thrills. I think it's just my natural instinct to put some meaning behind it. I speak at length about this stuff, and it is kind of opening the door to like contradicting yourself, especially in art. I stand by what I say. I believe in what I'm doing. And I guess I'm just trying to justify why I do want to make a horror movie with blood and cuss words. But I think there's got to be a story under there. I'm really inspired by Italian exploitation, because they just throw everything in there. They throw all this stuff that they know you want. And the effect is usually very entertaining, even when the movies are really bad. You get Anthropophagus. I watched that. It's just such a slimy movie. But man, I love it. I love the feeling of it. Oh, there's a Bruno Mattei. I started watching a lot more Bruno Mattei films. My voice is really getting raw. I'm dying here, guys. I gotta shut up in a minute. Yeah, when the time comes, I wish Mark Klein, my buddy, the genius who did Dinosaur Kingdom and Foam Hinge and all that great stuff in Virginia. I would like to get him in on it, but I know he's back in Virginia. We got him a little bit. We got to feature it in from some footage I took at Dinosaur Kingdom in one of the episodes of Eggs of Darkness that's on the Volume 2 DVD, so you'll see it there. He's such a talented dude and just so into all this, and he's such an amazing fella and he's done such amazing work, you know. I would like to have some more involvement, but like I said, with him being in Virginia, well, maybe to some degree, you know, when things line up, I'd like to see what I can do. I was thinking getting my buddies back in Virginia to rendezvous with me and Mark somewhere, and, you know, so it could happen. Mark, if you're listening, you know, so it would be cool when the time's right. Right in the more immediate future, yeah, I want to check into what's going on here in Ohio. I haven't talked much about the actual art I'm doing here. As you can see, we're just unfolding more Door to Death. Oh yeah, that's what was on the tip of my tongue earlier. I want to talk about the title of Door to Death. It's just so cheap. It still makes me embarrassed when I say it. When you look at it, why bother? I mean, but the thing is, it just sounds so cheesy. It sounds like a corny name a kid would make up. But that was kind of the idea. I said Door to Death. I said it's just so easy to remember. It's so catchy, and that is, I mean, that's one part. I like the title. You know, it's not like I don't like it. We're talking about when you compromise your style to appease other people. I said, you know, I'm not saying I've never done it, but the title Door to Death was not that. I said it's easy to remember. It's kind of corny, kind of cheesy, kind of childish. I'm kind of corny and cheesy and childish. You know, I'm not pretentious. And even if I wanted something a little classier, a little more stylish, a little more pretentious, if you will, I'm not against doing that. It just worked, you know. And I said I think it was I don't know, you know, it all happened so naturally. I didn't really plot it out. But at some point I said Door to Death is going to be, you know, it's going to be a little clever if I may. Because what it is Door to Death is actually going to be the title of a film that the protagonist starred in years ago as a child. Now he's a washed up actor, just trying to find his purpose. You know, he's been looking for a purpose all these years and no one wants him. Then all of a sudden a lot of these kids he influenced, you know, the film Door to Death influenced when they were growing up, they're getting into the business now. And they are fans of his. What do you know? I've got a bunch of cult fans, and some of them are in the film business. And they want me to be in this film. But at the same time, he's also, after a failed suicide attempt, a spiritual entity who stops him from committing suicide tells him drive east. And he just drives east until he knows when to stop. And he just ends up on the East Coast in Delaware. And he's like, well, here I am. And what do you know? There's stuff going on over there that makes him realize that Door to Death, that the director, writer, was actually having a vision. It all meant something the whole time. There is something going on. There's something trying to leak into this world, and Corrales Coast is like a hotbed for it. And he was supposed to be there at that time. We're starting off in Volume 2. He's called back. He goes back to the West Coast. He goes back to California, where they're filming this movie. And even with the movie, it's all being influenced by dreams. And even the main character, Winston, the protagonist, he's having these visions. And even he isn't totally in control of what's going on or really know what it all means. But he puts his ideas into this movie. I mean, the director wants him to actually have an active role in creating the movie until Winston actually becomes like a second director or assistant director. And then the main director, he starts having visions too, and the visions, spoiler alert, might actually be some runes or something that they put on a movie prop and this movie might become more realistic than their budget would have made you expect. Exciting, right? Yeah, Door to Death. It says cheesy, it's corny, but it's memorable. As far as at that time, I could not find it anywhere else. It said no cheesy 80s horror movies use that title, but it sounds perfect for one. And that's what it's supposed to, it ended up being what it was supposed to be derived from. It was an old 80s horror movie. And even that, I mentioned The Gate earlier. I was kind of influenced by The Gate, I say, because I forgot the actor's name. Stephen Dorff. Oh, forgive me for forgetting his name right now. I like that guy. He was in it as a kid. And he did not become a washed-up actor. He had a fairly awesome career. Good for him. But it was influenced a lot by The Gate. Once again, The Gate was one of those movies that was so great, but lo and behold, not rated R, and not full of all this stuff that made my parents like So yeah. Movies meant more to me, and more than has played a part in my life in more than a couple ways, I guess. Now we're looking here, man. I get this all becomes so subconscious. I love doing these videos because I do just get to talk and vent my mind and thoughts and ideas and share them with whoever's listening, and get some work done without really even thinking about it. It all becomes like kind of background. Now, this might be kind of a mistake. I got carried away doing this skull. This is supposed to be just like ethereal, like it's just a little spiritual vision that only she is aware of or something. She's got all this evil magical stuff is coming out because she's been possessed by this haunted monster flesh. It's the sushi, the shish fish is not fish. It is monster flesh, and it curses everyone who eats it. Part of the plot. Poison your mind and soul like a lot of mainstream media is doing today. We're getting close to it. And by it, I mean done. I like these kind of murky black backgrounds. Not done in overabundance, but probably said before, that was one complaint I got from an editor back when. Said my work looked a little murky. May yet still be a wee bit, but who cares? Shoot. But I think I balance it pretty. I'm happy with how I balance it. Some pages get really contrasted, between the blacks and whites, and it makes it pop more. Honestly, I did some simple lines on the last issue. And ended up looking really flat. So you got to know where to put your black strokes tastefully or in abundance, like I do. I kind of do my black shading like I do my gore grind. I just kind of lay it on. But you can be like Junji Ito and be more tasteful in how you apply it. And depends on what you're looking for. And both ways can work pretty well. I try other styles. I try Junji Ito, and once again, Junji Ito is Junji Ito. I'm not. And but I imitate the style of other artists that have influenced me. I gotta try Hideshi Hino again. Try imitating him. I think I'm definitely much closer in style to him. Oh man, I'm just about done. My head's hurting. Another half hour, seriously. I gotta shut up. Let's turn off the sketch. We don't need it anymore. Got all the main lines. Well, what do y'all think? To finish that thought, yeah, I like to just try those other styles, and then I usually end up just gravitating back towards what works best for me. And this right here is a pretty decent example. I'm using a smaller line stroke, pen stroke. Yeah, I think I thinned it out a little bit. I did Door to Death. I remember Door to Death issue 2 had way too thick of lines, noticeably so it looked kind of goofy. I mean, goofier. I can't think of much else, everybody. I've gone on. I know I'm just kind of rambling. It's a flow of consciousness, so my mind's same with my art, but it's a very nice release for me to share my art and share my thoughts with you on all things. Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna take a break. I don't know. Check my social media if you want to catch up on my stuff. Buy Door to Death, buy the first Overwrite issue, buy the Toadies comics from thetoadies.com, get Door to Death Volume 2 if you want. And, yeah, check up on Jext. Next time I do fiction, Jext I've been itching for a long time to get back into. Jext is where that's at. I'm still, I'll just share this with you. I got a presentation that I've been sitting on for literally years, and I finally finalized it like a year ago, and I still even upgraded it. I still have not submitted it, but I am going to look into an agency, just in case someone can get my stuff out there more. I mean, maybe not comics, not so much. I think my fiction definitely kind of dwells in a realm where someone, a bigger publisher could sell it. I think what Jext is and some of my other titles and what I have yet to write. I'm looking forward to writing again. Comics aren't like this. It's just, there's no beating it. It's a lot of extra work, but it's so satisfying. I just love, I love these images in my head, these stories in my head. I gotta give them to you, and I could write them, but, how many, it's just so, comics are so much more accessible. You pick them up and you can look at it. I think the comics first, then you can look at the fiction if you really want to catch it. And you got audiobooks. I got all my stories I put on audiobook. You can listen to them. You like what you see, you like my imagination. Yeah, the comics are definitely my babies. I love my fiction too, but it's just, it's just harder to get it. I know it's just harder to tap into. You got to go out of your way. You got to get the audio or get the Kindle. You got to sit down and actually dig into it. The comics are just pow. There's the image. I did all the work for you. That's what was in my head. And you can notice it at a glance. Yeah, it's that true vision. I think reading and listening to an audiobook's awesome too. I love doing comics because I can. I'm no Junji Ito, but I can get these images down. I'm pretty happy with them. Okay, I really better stop. I can talk. I know I ramble a lot. I'll save some of it for next time. I'm really tired. God bless y'all. I love y'all. Peace.